I'm Sarah Hinches, and as you can see, this is going to be a chair yoga class. One note about chair yoga is that it really is for everyone. You don't necessarily have to need a chair to be able to do chair yoga. And in fact, some things in chair yoga can be a little bit more challenging than they are without a chair. But generally the chair is here for a variety of functions, one of those being a tool in our different yoga poses. So I'm going to be giving a lot of different options, and I always encourage people to do what feels best for you in all cases in yoga, and particularly here in this class. So you'll notice that I have a standard folding chair. Really any chair that you have can work for you. You probably want it to be stable so it's not going to roll around, and it's nice to have a back for the chair as well. Arms would get in the way, so something that you can sit in comfortably, scoot back, or scoot forward in is the best. You can also have a yoga mat if you have one, and a blanket if you have one. So again, I'm going to give a lot of options, and you can always take or leave those options as we use them. So when we're ready, just sitting comfortably in the chair. I'm a little bit forward on my chair so that I can sit up nice and straight, so again, however that's good for you. Letting the shoulders relax down and back, tall through the top of the head. Bringing both feet to the earth and just taking a moment to spread the feet here, maybe give the toes a little bit of a wiggle. And then just gently maybe pressing down in this toes out and down like we're opening jars with the toes, so to speak. And we can close or open our eyes as we like, letting the hands rest on the thighs. And let's just start here with a few nice deep inhales and exhales. In through the nose, out through the nose. As we inhale, letting the spine grow a little bit longer. As we exhale, just letting the shoulders relax down and back. Letting that breath expand and open the chest and the lungs down into the rib cage. Down into the belly, down into the lower body. And feel that nice rooted sense through the feet connecting with the earth. Letting that breath slow down the heart rate, slow down the speed of the mind. And just sinking in to our yoga experience here. On the next exhale, let's gently bring the chin down to the chest. Feel the shoulders release, making some space between the ears and the shoulders. And then just gently rolling the head side to side a few times, the ear toward the shoulder. Nice and easy. Continuing to use that breath throughout the practice, throughout the movements. And then bringing the chin back to the center, lifting the chin, looking up to the sky, lengthening through the neck and the throat. Again, let the shoulders stay relaxed. Big inhale and exhale. Another big inhale. And then gently just let the chin settle back down to the center. Keeping the spine long, again, shoulders relaxed. And we start to find our shoulders creeping up toward our ears, just letting them sink back down again. When we're ready, let's inhale one arm up. And then as we exhale, let's just let that arm float back down to the quad. Again, inhaling up. And again, exhale, letting that float down. Let's do that a couple more times. We can always make this range of motion a little bit smaller if we need to. Spreading the fingers, spreading the palm open. And again, exhale and just let that float down. Coordinating the breath with the movement. Again, letting that hand rest on the thigh at the bottom of the exhale. Let's inhale the shoulders up, back, and down. Let's do that a couple more times. Again, inhaling up, pressing them back, exhaling down. One more time. And again, letting the shoulders release down. Let's inhale, opening one arm behind us. And then as we exhale, rounding our back, letting the shoulder dip toward the front. Again, inhaling to open. Exhale, letting that shoulder round and toward the front. Inhale and open. Exhale, rounding in toward the front. Inhale, open one more time. And then exhale and bring that hand back to the quad. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, open. And then exhale, dipping that shoulder, rounding the spine a little bit. Inhale, open. Exhale, dip in. One more time, open. And then exhale, bringing that hand back to the quad. And shoulders relax down. Let's inhale, reinforce the feet spreading on the earth. Shoulders relaxing, the spine lengthening. When we're ready, let's inhale one arm straight up. And then just let the shoulder relax here, gazing up toward the sky. Another big inhale. And then exhale, let that arm float across the body and back to the quad. Other arm, we inhale straight up, again holding here. Let the shoulder release down, gazing up toward the sky. Another big inhale. Exhale, let that arm float across and back and down to the quad. Let's scoot a little forward on our chair, so we're just at the edge there, moving the feet a little forward, maybe stepping the feet a little bit wider here. Again, let the shoulders relax. We're going to do a little bit of a cat and cow here in seated position. So let's arch down forward and then pull the belly button and round back up. So as we do this, we're going to inhale and then exhale, pull the belly button up. As we inhale, think about lifting through the head and the tail, so the tailbone tilts a little bit off of that chair. Exhale, round spine rolls up toward the sky. Again, let the shoulders relax. Inhale, arching that down. Exhale, pulling the belly button in. Couple more times here. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, pull the belly button in, rounding that up. One more time like that. Exhale, rounding that up. And then just arching down, holding here. We're going to inhale, arch, and then exhale and round. So a little bit different than before. Inhale and arch. Exhale and round. Inhale and arch. Exhale and round. One more time like that. Exhale and round. Then inhale, lift up. Let the shoulders relax, and again the spine nice and long here. Let's just walk those feet a little bit wider, turning the knees and the toes out to the corners, and just gently pressing the hands to the inner thighs. Again, letting the shoulders relax down and back. Let's stay nice and long through the spine as we inhale, resting on one thigh, reaching from the hip through the fingers, and then exhaling, coming back to the center. Again, inhaling, reaching from the hip, up through the fingers, exhaling back to the center. Let's continue that a few more times side to side. That reach can come straight up, or we can increase the range of motion. Again, always doing what feels best for you in the moment. Yoga is going to be a different practice for us from day to day. So always wanting to listen to what the body wants, what the body needs, and meeting those needs for yourself. Again, inhale, long reach, hip through the fingers. Maybe your breath is slower than mine. Maybe your breath is quicker than mine. Finding what feels good to you. Maybe just always trying to slow it down a little bit more. Let's do that one more time to each side. And then gently coming back to center. Pausing here, hands to the insides of the thighs, and just arching that down like we did for cat and cow. Maybe just staying here, maybe bringing the elbows down to the thighs, or if it's comfortable, bringing the hands to the floor. You can also set something in front of you to reach down. And just hinging that forward for a moment. Big inhale and exhale with the head hanging. Maybe give it a gentle little shake or a little nod. And then taking our time to bring the hands back up to the thighs, coming back up to the top, bringing the feet back together. Maybe scooting slightly back in the chair, straightening the legs out in front of us. Let the shoulders relax down. Just reaching and lengthening through the top of the head, reaching one hand down toward the floor. Inhaling up, exhale, reaching down toward the floor. So again, that range of motion always up to you, reaching down. Inhaling up, lengthening the spine, keeping the shoulders relaxed. That nice, easy little bend side to side. A couple more times here. One more each. And coming back to center here, we can bring the hands to the quads, or we can bring the hands back and grab onto the back of the chair here, whatever we feel is best for us at this point. And we're just going to lift the toes on one foot and then the other. You probably cannot see me at the camera angle here. Lifting the toes, walking back onto the heel. Lifting the toes, walking back onto the heel. Do that a couple more times each side. Again, continuing to breathe. Finishing off that last one. Walking the feet back toward us. And then just lifting the knee and lowering it. Lifting the foot off the floor and lowering it. So kind of like we're marching here, nice and easy. Again, continuing to breathe. And again, that range of motion is up to you, staying nice and tall. Again, we can keep the hands on the quads if that's a better place to be. We can also, if we like, bring the hands to heart center. So I'm just giving some different options on what we can do with the hands and the arms. We could reach overhead if we like, again, keeping the spine nice and long. Let's do that a couple more times. And one more each. And both feet come to the floor. We brought the arms up. A nice big inhale. And then an exhale out to the sides. With the arms, let's inhale, maybe leaning forward, scooping that up. And then exhaling, letting that wash down the body. Let's do that again. Inhale, scooping up. And exhale, washing down the body. Keeping it just like that, or we can straighten the legs out in front of us, maybe scooting forward a little bit. Again, inhale, scooping up. Exhale, letting that wash down. Inhale, scooping up. Exhale, letting that wash down. One more time like that. Inhale, scooping up. Exhale, letting that wash down. And then continue to wash all the way down. And hinging forward, we might just hinge and bring the hands to the quads and stay here. We can, if we like, bend the knees more, bring the chest down to the quads, letting the arms hang down by the sides or rest on the outside of the legs. So again, as you like, with legs straight or bent, and just letting that upper back round all the way down through the low back. The arms are hanging from the shoulders or on the quads. If we like, we can swing, sway,
Circle or egg beater the arms a little bit. Maybe swing them under the legs. Nice big inhales and exhales. Let that breath expand down into the belly. Maybe the belly expanding into the thighs. Let's take another big inhale, exhale here. On the next exhale, gently rounding that back up to the top. Bring the shoulders up, back, and down. Let's take a big inhale in, clasping the hands together and bringing the hands back behind the back of the head, lifting the chest, looking up to the sky, opening the elbows. Another big inhale and exhale here. Let's inhale, pressing the hands up to the sky, and then exhale, round it over through the upper back, and just hold here for a moment. Maybe another big inhale and exhale. And then inhale, opening the chest, looking up to the sky. Exhale, rounding that over. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, rounding that over. One more time like that. Inhale, open. Exhale, round, and then inhale and open. Exhale, let the hands relax back. Again, maybe finding the chair or just opening the arms behind us. So if we're here, taking a couple deep breaths, or finding the chair and bringing the elbows back, looking up to the sky, keeping that gaze active, so not letting the head flop back, but keeping it just off of the back. Again, nice big inhale. Squeezing the shoulder blades, maybe squeezing them a little bit closer together. Letting that breath expand and open. One more inhale. And then exhale, and again just releasing the arms. And maybe just wiggling that out a little bit, the head, the neck, the shoulders. And again, shoulders relaxing back. You can scoot forward or back on the chair as you like, bringing the feet back to ground into the earth. Shoulders down, inhale up through the top of the head. And then as we exhale, let's turn to the side. And we might just bring the hands to the hip here. Or we might reach back for the back of the chair. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to let the knees come with us. We want to find that spinal twist. So again, inhale, lengthen, twist toward the hip, or reach for the back of the chair. And if you scoot back into the back of the chair, you might get a little bit more range of motion. So we don't want to hunch down here. We want to keep the spine nice and long. Let the shoulders relax. Maybe turn and look over the shoulder. Big inhale and exhale. Another big inhale and exhale. One more big inhale. And then as we exhale, letting that unwind, coming back to the center. Maybe readjusting in the chair if you need to. So again, if we're further forward, we might have more range of motion, or we might just come to the hip. Inhale, lengthen, let the shoulders relax. Exhale, again, hands maybe come to the hip. Or again, we might scoot back into the chair. Shoulders relax. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, can reach back for the back of the chair. Again, looking over the shoulder, keeping the spine long. Maybe even letting the rib cage rest against the back of the chair. Again, nice deep inhales and exhales here. One more inhale, keep the spine nice and long. And then exhale, unwind, and come back to the center. I want to encourage you to take a sip of water anytime you need one during class, which might require getting up out of the chair. Let's again bring the feet to the earth in front of us. And we're going to do a little bit of a breathing series here, which might involve lifting up and out of the chair, which is totally optional. So we can just stay here, and I'll show it a couple times with the seat resting on the chair, or lifting about an inch off, strengthening the legs and the core, or even lifting that a little bit higher if you so choose. So again, shoulders relax down. We're going to inhale up, and then exhale out, reaching the arms forward. Inhaling up, exhaling out, reaching the arms forward. So again, maybe just staying like this, or as we exhale, we might lift and lower. Inhale up, exhale, lift and lower. Inhale up, exhale, lift and lower. Inhale up, exhale, lift and lower. So we might find as we do that lift, or no lift at all, that little inch lift is a little bit more challenging than standing all the way up. Inhale, exhale, and lift. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, and lift. And then just let that settle back down into the chair. So again, that little lift engages the core and the legs, and again, might be a little bit more challenging than the easy standing all the way, which lets us use a little bit of our momentum to come up. So again, shoulders relax down, tall to the top of the head, always keeping that same good posture. We're going to do a warrior series here on the chair, and then I'm also going to show the option to use that warrior series on the mat behind the chair. So we'll do it first on the chair, and then you can stay on the chair, or you can stand up and do it on the mat behind me. So let's open one leg and let that other leg come behind us. So one foot is on the floor, parallel to your screen perhaps, and the other foot's at a little bit of an angle. So again, I realize that my angle here, you can't see my feet very well, but we're basically in Warrior Two. And we want to keep the hips and the chest open, like we're on that long end of our mat. You can maybe scoot a little further forward on the chair if that feels good. Shoulders relax. As we breathe here, maybe the hands just stay on the quads, feeling that stretch through the inner thighs, perhaps down the side of the leg. Again, shoulders staying down, maybe changing the gaze here. We can choose to bring that into a fuller Warrior Two by reaching out through the fingers. Again, always your choice where you find that pose. Taking another couple deep breaths here. And then relaxing, letting the arms come back down. We're going to gently shift that to the other side, so bringing that back foot in, turning back to the center. Again, opening what's going to be our front leg, straightening out that leg behind us. Again, adjusting on the seat of the chair as we need to, opening the hips, the chest. Again, that big stretch through the inner thighs, down the side of the leg, into the quadriceps as well. Again, shoulders relax down. Maybe we stay here, hands on the quads, and breathe, and maybe change the gaze if we like. Letting that breath expand down to the bottom of the lungs, down into the rib cage. Again, maybe there's no change to the arms at all, or maybe we engage a little bit more core strength, a little bit more upper body strength, opening the chest, reaching through the fingers. Maybe we gaze down the front arm or the back arm. Again, continuing to breathe here. Taking another big inhale in, and then exhale, letting the arms just release and relax down to the sides. We're going to bring the legs back to center, so nice and easy, taking our time to transition. We're going to come back to that Warrior Two leg position on the other side. Again, hips and chest are open. And this time we're going to let that back hand just gently rest on the thigh. We're going to turn toward our front leg and maybe just stay here as we lift the chin, let the back hand slide down the leg. Option to lift the arm here into a reverse warrior. So no pressure on this back leg, just letting the hand gently rest there, reaching up through the fingers, up and back, shoulder relaxed, gazing up to the sky or down to the earth. Again, finding those choices where they meet you here. Breathing, letting that breath expand into the rib cage, feeling both feet firmly on the earth, nice and supported by the chair. Big stretch through the inner thighs. Another big inhale here. And then we're going to rotate the upper body toward the front leg. The arm is going to rest. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to kind of scrunch down lazily on the front leg. We want to open into that front leg and reach the arm straight up. This arm can stay straight behind us or on the hip if that's a better place for you to be. Coming into side angle. Again, choose the option for you. Shoulder relaxed. The chest is open. Again, we're kind of pressing into the inner thigh here, not resting on it. Lengthening, opening, breathing. Bringing some stretch into both sides of the torso, into the rib cage. Another big inhale here. And then exhale, letting that arm relax and release down to the leg. So let's do that same thing on the other side. Again, nice and easy, walking or sliding the feet in, switching that over to the other side with that warrior two, lower body position, shoulders relaxed, chest and hips open. And again, this time we'll let that hand slide down the back leg a little bit, looking up and over the other shoulder. Again, maybe the hands stay here. Breathing and finding that position where it meets you today. Or maybe that arm lifts. I didn't say before, but we might even bend the elbow to decrease that lever. In hand, just gently rest, so no pressure on the back leg, especially the knee. Big stretch from that front hip up through the fingers. Again, we might gaze up toward the sky, or we might gaze down toward the earth. Breathing here, letting the rib cage open. Big stretch through the inner thighs. Finding that strength despite using the chair, still building strength through the lower body, through the core. Let's take another big inhale here. And then exhale, gently coming back to the center, adjusting as needed. Lengthening and bringing that front arm again inside the thigh. That arm can stay on the hip. So we lean and lengthen, long line through both sides of the torso. Again, hand on the hip or reaching out behind us or coming straight up from the shoulder. Again, not slouching down and resting on that leg, but keeping the core engaged, the entire body strong here. Again, the chair gives us that support, but still a lot of work here. And also if you do yoga and you do these poses without the chair, you might find that the chair just emphasizes the pose in a different way, not necessarily making it easier, finding different muscles, engaging in different ways here. Let's keep breathing. Another big inhale here. And then exhale, releasing that arm comes back down. Again, nice and easy, walking the feet in, taking our time, and pausing here for a moment. You can slide forward or back on the chair, feet firmly on the earth, hands to the quads. Letting that breath expand and lengthen the spine. Just noticing where the breath goes. Coming back to the center with some fingers, wrists. Maybe turning the head a little side to side. Letting the arms relax down to the quads again. So again, we're going to do that same
warrior series, the warrior 2, reverse warrior, and side angle. And again, you can stay right here in your chair and do exactly what we did before, or you can stand up nice and easy, and we can use that chair for support in standing with these same poses. So, hands on the back of the chair, walking the feet out. They can be as wide or as narrow as you need them to be. We're going to keep that back foot parallel to the short end of our mat or slightly turned, and the other foot's going to turn parallel to the long end of our mat. So again, we can sink down as much or as little as we like, and we're opening the chest and the hips to the back of the chair here. So the chair can help us find that rotation, so we can actually push and open a little bit more. Let's keep that knee open so the knee does not come with us. It stays open here. And again, the chair might give you the support to sink a little bit lower into that warrior 2 than you did before. So I'm going to keep one hand at all times on the chair. You can always feel free to take both hands off the chair and come into that fuller reverse or side angle. Again, finding your best options. So again, we're strong and stable here in warrior 2, and maybe we're staying just like this with no changes. If we like, we're going to bring that arm up, reaching from that front hip through the fingers, gazing up to the sky and finding that reverse warrior. So we can always feel free to bring the feet a little closer if we find that we're too low into that pose, adjusting anytime we need to. Same thing, we can bring the feet wider if we feel like we need a little more challenge. Think about pressing down through both feet fully on the earth, strong and stable. Continuing to breathe here, finding that strength and stretch through the lower body. Another big inhale, and then exhale, let that release down. We're going to lean toward that front leg, so again, we can rest on the thigh here, or we can bring that hand to the chair, open the chest so we can kind of rotate and use the chair to help to rotate open the chest and hip. Both hands can stay on the chair. We can reach behind us, or we can reach up into that side angle. So the chair here helps us to find that support. Maybe the elbow comes into the inner thigh. We're opening that top hip, opening the chest, lengthening and breathing. Strong and stable through the lower body, letting the chair act as a tool. Let's take another big inhale and exhale. One more big inhale, and then using that exhale to come back up to the center. Let's turn the feet parallel to each other and just pause here for a moment. I'm going to move my chair slightly forward. And if we like, we might just hinge forward, coming into a standing straddle stretch. We can rest on the back of the chair here. If we're sitting on the chair, we can do something similar, just bringing the feet out to the sides and hinging forward, hands to the quads. And letting that breath expand and open, lengthening to the tailbone to the top of the head, from the low back down through the hamstrings and glutes, down into the heels. On the next exhale, gently lifting back up from here. Maybe moving the feet a little closer to bring that chair back to where it started, to come into that warrior series on the other side. So again, shoulders relax down. Back foot's going to stay parallel to the short end of the mat or turn slightly in. Other foot turns parallel to the long end of the mat. Again, we can sink down. We can always move that chair forward and back as we need to. Can open the stance between the feet or close it. And again, thinking about the hips and the chest being open to that chair. So we might use the chair to kind of rotate open. Again, not bringing the knee with us, but letting that knee open toward that backside long end of our mat. Strong and stable here, and maybe we just stay in that warrior 2. Always a good place to be. Maybe your body says, that's where I am today. Or we can come into that reverse warrior. So again, keeping one hand on the chair, bringing the arm front leg up, reaching from the hip through the fingers, reaching up and back. Again, keeping stable with the chair. And maybe leaning a little further into that reverse warrior. That's that big stretch up the side. Strong and stable through the lower body. Maybe changing our gaze. Continue to let that breath open. Strength and stretch through the lower body. Another big inhale here. And then exhale, coming back to the center. Again, we're going to come into that side angle. So we might just lean here, lengthening through both sides of the torso, that back hip, opening that back hip to the invisible wall behind us. And again, maybe we stay just like this. Or we can keep that hand on the chair as we open the arm up. And again, maybe we let that bend lower into the leg. Maybe we shorten that distance. Maybe we let the elbow come to the inner thigh. So we use that chair for as much or as little support as we need in this pose. Lengthening from the hip through the fingers, long from the tailbone to the top of the head. Reaching, breathing, opening. Lengthening, strength, and stretch. Both feet firmly on the earth. Another big inhale and exhale. One more inhale, and then as we exhale, gently coming back to the center. Let's turn the feet again parallel to each other, and I'm just going to change my chair. You can do this if you like, and we're just going to take that chair, and we're going to turn it around so it's facing us. We can keep it how it was, and we can move it further or closer, and then if we like, using that lower level of the chair to come a little bit deeper this time into that standing straddle. Maybe reaching out through the arms in front of us, letting the tailbone tilt up toward the sky, letting the chest sink closer to the earth. Nice big inhales and exhales. Again, feel free to keep this at the back of the chair or seated on the chair, always your choice. Maybe bringing one hand to the earth, keeping one on the chair, that's just an option. Letting that breath expand into the lower body. If you brought one hand down, we'll just switch to the other hand down. Breath still finding its way all the way into the belly. Bringing both hands back to the chair. Big stretch through the chest, down the back of the legs. Maybe bringing the arches of the feet a little closer to the floor. Another couple deep breaths here. And then taking our time to lift the upper body, to heel toe the feet back together. And I'm going to turn my chair just to show this next stretch, which can be done with however you are oriented to your chair. Coming to the back of the chair and just letting that lengthen, so getting the distance that feels comfortable for you, and then kind of like we did with the chair in the standing straddle stretch, pressing the chest down, reaching through the fingers,
tilting the tailbone up to the sky perhaps. Breathing here. And always welcome to stay seated on that chair and just lean forward for a similar stretch. Taking a few more deep breaths here. Again, big stretch to the chest, the biceps, into the sides, the lats, into the upper back, down the back of the legs, from the low back, through the glutes, hamstrings, down to the heels. Maybe give the toes a little wiggle. And slowly rounding that up, one vertebrae at a time, walking closer to the chair. So we're going to do a couple balance poses. So again, want to tell you that you're welcome to stay seated in that chair if you prefer. We're going to use that chair for support and balance. We're going to spread the foot on our supporting leg, lifting the heel on the other foot, and then turning that knee and hip open. So slight bend always in our supporting leg. The hips are opening here. The foot can stay right there by the ankle. We can lift that opposite arm, which is an option always. If we want, the foot can come up to the leg or inside the shin. So basically we've got tree pose here. Maybe the arm comes higher, maybe it makes a goalpost, maybe it comes down to the low back. Your options, breathing here, keeping that strength, stability, balance. And the breath always. Another big inhale and exhale. And then gently bringing that foot back down to the earth, maybe shifting the feet a little bit. So you can just turn around. I'm just going to move my chair to the other side here. Finding that same pose on the other side, spreading the foot, slight bend in the knee, lifting the heel. Maybe just staying here even. If we're sitting in the chair, we're just lifting the foot, lifting the heel. Again, that foot can come right into the inside of the ankle. It can stay here. We can add that arm. We can lift the foot up to the ankle or into the inner shin. So we want to be below the knee, no pressure on the knee. Again, the hips are open, the chest is open. Maybe the arm comes up overhead. Maybe it's a goalpost. Maybe it comes to the low back. Again, finding that wherever you like, continuing to breathe here. Letting that breath expand and open, finding your solid, secure tree. And then on the next exhale, just letting that arm float down, letting the foot release. Again, maybe shaking it out a little bit. So we're going to come back to seated, and in just a moment, we're going to make our way down to the floor. So again, coming back to that seated position, let's scoot to the outer edge of the chair, feet to the earth, shoulders relaxed. Tall through the top of the head, eyes closed or open. So let the spine lengthen with the inhale. And maybe just turning the head side to side a few times, the chin toward the shoulder, making that as slow or as quick as you like. Continuing to breathe. And then coming back to the center. Another big inhale and exhale here. And again, at the edge of our chair, and when we're ready, we're just going to let the arms gently swing a little bit side to side, letting the spine stay long, nice and easy. coming back to the center. So again, getting a sip of water if you'd like one. We're going to be transitioning down to the floor. We're going to use the chair there on the floor as well. So I'm going to make just a little bit of an adjustment with my camera, and we're going to take our time to transition, continuing to just breathe and make those nice, easy adjustments. So we're going to bring the chair to the mat, and you can have that be as far back on the mat as you would like, and we'll have the seat of the chair facing toward us. So again, making that adjustment. Okay, and again, if you have a blanket, you can also have the option to use a blanket. So we're going to take our time to come down to the floor. You can get there however you would like to. One way to come down is just to nice and easy bring the hands to the seat of the chair. Nice and easy, bring one hand down, one knee down, the other knee down. Taking our time to come down to a seated position. Again, taking as much time as you need to get there. So the blanket is first going to act as a pillow or a support for our head and neck. Again, it's totally optional. You can use it or not. And again, taking our time to come down, we're going to scoot closer to the chair, and we're going to bring our legs up on top of the chair. So again, you can get as close or as far from the chair as you'd like to. Laying back from here, taking that blanket and sliding it under the head and neck for support. And again, you can always make adjustments. Maybe you need to push that chair a little further back or move up a little bit. Finding a neutral spine position. Let's bring the arms straight down by the sides, palms face down. And just pressing the feet into the back of the chair if that's comfortable, or again, maybe just sliding it slightly away to give yourself a little more room. So our knees are at about a 90-degree angle, so we can bring those knees closer or further, so a 90-degree or greater angle. Letting the arms gently press down into the earth by our sides. Maybe just rocking the head side to side a few times, massaging the back of the head, releasing the neck. Bringing the head back to the center. Nice big inhale and exhale. We're going to walk our feet over toward one side of the chair and just leaning the knees to one side, so a little rotation through the lower body, and then turning to look over the opposite shoulder. We can bring the arms straight out to the sides if we like, and just a little bit of spinal rotation here, breathing. Letting the rib cage expand with the breath. On the next exhale, bringing the head back to the center, rotating the knees back to the center, walking the feet over toward the other edge of the chair. Again, rotating the lower body as much or as little feels good to you. Simple spinal twist. Head can turn, look in the opposite direction. Again, nice big inhales and exhales, in through the nose, out through the nose. Letting the breath expand and open down into the rib cage, down into the belly. Letting that next exhale gently bring the knees back to the center, the head back to the center, letting the legs again rest on top of the chair here. Let's bring the arms straight down by the sides, palms face down, and just lifting the hips a couple inches off of the floor, and then setting them back down. Inhale, and then exhale, lifting the hips a couple of inches, and then setting them back down. Inhale, expand the lungs. Exhale, lifting the hips. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, gently lift. Couple more times here, building core strength. One more time. And then again, setting the hips back down on the earth. Let's just keep the legs where they are. Maybe bringing the inner thighs a little closer. Opening the arms out to the sides, palms face up. Big inhale. And then as we exhale, lifting the arms, giving ourselves a hug, hands to the shoulders, letting the elbows come away from the head and taking a couple deep breaths here. Stretching through the shoulders, the outer arms. And letting the breath continue to expand and open. Letting the next inhale open the arms. And then exhaling, lifting, bringing the other arm on top this time, hands to the shoulders. Again, pressing the shoulders down, giving ourselves a hug, and breathing here. And then the next inhale, opening the arms, making goalposts by our sides. Nice big inhale and exhale. We're going to bring one leg off of the chair, bringing the knee toward us. Our hands can hold onto our hamstrings or can come to the top of the shin as we let that knee sink toward the chest, maybe pointing and flexing the foot a few times. Another big inhale and exhale. And then gently releasing and just stirring the hip socket a couple times in one direction, a couple times in the other direction. And then taking that ankle, we can reach for the ankle or not, crossing it across the thigh, and then just gently opening the knee to open the hip. So we're going to just let that stretch through that outer hip and glute continue to drop in. Now, if we like, that leg on the chair can slide closer to us, increasing that stretch, hip, glute, and into the low back. We don't want to push on the knee, but we can push on the inner thigh. That opposite arm can counterbalance. And again, taking a few deep breaths here. Letting that breath expand and open down into the hip and glute, into the lower body. Letting that breath help us to release and relax, letting go of any tension. And then gently releasing that ankle from the other leg, letting it come back down to the chair, bringing that other knee into the chest, again, hands to the hamstrings, letting it sink in, or to the shin, letting that sink in. Again, we can point and flex the foot a few times. Feeling that stretch into the low back, the upper glute. Gently releasing that stretch, crossing the ankle. Again, we can reach for the ankle if we like, or just cross the ankle at the thigh. Let that knee gently open. And again, we might just stay here, letting that knee and hip open, pressing into the inner thigh for a little bit of gentle tension, increasing the stretch. Breathing here. If you'd like to increase the sensation of that stretch, we might slide the foot on the chair closer to us. Again, keeping that knee and hip open, not pressing the knee, but pressing the inner thigh if that feels good. Arm can open out to the side and counterbalance. Again, nice deep inhales and exhales in through the nose, out through the nose. Letting the breath go a little bit longer on the inhale and the exhale. On that next exhale, gently releasing. I realize I forgot to have us stir that hip socket, so never too late to stir the hip socket a couple times each direction. And then letting that leg relax back down to the chair. Let's bring the heels both closer to us so the knees come in toward the chest. And we can just let the arms relax down by the sides. We can stay just like this, and if it feels good, we might just gently rock the knees a little side to side, massaging through the lower back. If you prefer, you can bring the hands to the hamstrings or the shins, taking the foot off the chair and rocking that side to side. Again, always finding the options that are best for you at each moment. Again, continuing to breathe. Now when we're ready, we're going to slowly be transitioning all the way down into Shavasana, corpse pose, spinal relaxation. So we want to gently transition and move our chair. So a couple different ways that we can do this. 1 foot at a time can come down to the earth as we roll onto one side. And we might just choose to stay in that side lying position for the remainder of class, or taking our time to gently press ourselves up to a comfortable seated position, taking our time to slide that chair out of the way, taking our time to come back down to the mat so the blanket can continue to be a pillow for the head and the neck. We can also take that blanket and bring it more onto our mat and use it for a little bit of a lift of the chest, so we can bring that blanket down just above the hips and the low back, and then lay back onto that blanket. So this is a very subtle restorative yoga pose, arms opening out to the sides. So again, that's an option if you like it. So we're going to be here, or one more option, to come into a reclining butterfly. So we might stay here and breathe and relax. Or we might bend one leg at a time, bringing the bottoms of the feet together, letting the knees open. The hands might rest on the inner thighs or might open out to the sides or overhead in a diamond shape. And just breathing here as we let everything release and relax toward the earth. Finding that stretch through the inner thighs if we're in that reclining butterfly position. Maybe inflating the belly like a balloon for a belly breath as we inhale, pulling the breath down through the lungs, through the rib cage, into the belly as we let the belly inflate like a balloon. And then as we exhale, emptying the belly, deflating the balloon. bringing a little bit more noise to the breath for that ujjayi breath, closing the throat a little bit, constricting the flow of air. And finding what meets you here today on your mat. Letting go of any judgment that you might have of yourself or others. Exhale, letting go of any competition that you might have with yourself or others. Exhaling, letting go of any expectations that you might have of yourself or others. We're always welcome to keep that reclining butterfly position where we can straighten the legs one at a time. The feet fall out, the knees fall out, the arms again falling out to the sides. Into that final relaxation pose. Finding that full circle of birth, life, and death, metaphorically, as we renew and regenerate with each yoga practice. Letting ourselves be light and heavy at the same time. Finding stillness and breath. Focusing on the breath as we release and relax in these final moments of our yoga practice today. Maybe thinking about moving that breath, letting it move up toward the head with the inhale, and then letting it move back down toward the tailbone with the exhale. Maybe letting that inhale rise the breath up through the top of the head. And the exhale, move the breath down into the legs, all the way down into the feet. Maybe giving the toes a little wiggle. Maybe bringing that wiggle into the ankles, into the feet. Maybe bringing that wiggle up into the calves, the knees. Maybe bringing that wiggle up into the thighs, into the legs in front and in back. Maybe bringing that wiggle up into the hips, the glutes, the low back. A little wiggle against our mat. Maybe bringing that wiggle into the abdominals, the front of the hips. Maybe bringing the wiggle up into the rib cage, a little shift side to side. Maybe bringing that wiggle up into the chest, the shoulders, the front side of the body. Moving it out into the arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, fingers. Any movement, little wiggle. Bringing it back up the arms and back into the upper back, the shoulder blades. Maybe bringing it gently up into the head, the neck, top of the head, maybe into the eyes, the face, jaw. And then letting that all release and relax back down to the earth. Being light and heavy at the same time as we let that breath continue to expand and open. Maybe finding the longest, deepest inhale of our day so far. Maybe letting the exhale last as long as the inhale, or maybe even a little bit longer. Maybe taking a moment to thank yourself for making the time to do your yoga practice today. Maybe a thank you to your body for all that it can do, all the gifts that it gives you. You're welcome to stay here and continue to breathe. Let that breath expand and open. And just staying here and continuing to breathe. Or we can start to slowly transition by bringing one foot at a time to the earth. Maybe gently rocking the knees side to side one more time. Again, choosing to stay at any of these points, or to bring that right arm up above the head, rolling onto that side and using the arm or the blanket as a pillow, maybe tucking the knees toward the chest into fetal position, taking another couple deep breaths here. Again, we're welcome to stay at any of these points, or using the next exhale in the hands to gently press up off of the earth and to come to a comfortable seated position, which can be returning to the chair or folding that blanket and coming to seated on top of the blanket. So if we're coming up to the chair, just bringing it up to the knees. One foot at a time comes to the floor, can use that chair for support. Or again, same idea. Again, either coming to sit on the blanket or on the chair. On the chair, the feet are back on the earth. Either way, shoulders are relaxed, head and neck nice and long. Again, continuing to breathe and stay at any point, or to inhale and take a nice big scoop up. Exhale, letting that wash down. That can wash down to the quads, or that can wash down to the earth in front of us as we take another big inhale in. Exhaling, walking or sliding the hands back toward us. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, opening the arms, and either just keeping the arms here, holding on to the chair, or bringing the hands, fingers, or fists behind us as we lift and open the chest. Big inhale. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows as we come back to the center. Hands to the earth or to the quads. Inhaling up and over, small or big. Exhaling back to the center. Inhaling up and over. Exhaling back to the center. Taking another big inhale, lifting the sky with the wrists. Exhaling, diving the fingers down. Spreading the hands for one more big inhale. Hands come together as we exhale to heart center. And namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this chair yoga practice. There's a lot of different ways to do chair yoga, and I'll be doing a new video each week with some of the same things that we've done, as well as some new things. Please feel free to make any requests of things that you would like to see in this class, and let me know if you have any feedback. Again, please drink a lot of water, take some more deep breaths, and enjoy the rest of your day, and keep on